When I'm in that wooded lot, I feel like I'm 100 miles away from civilization, but it's just down the street from where I live. But I go visit that place often because I love hanging out there. It's just so peaceful. And I'm really looking forward to fall when all of the leaves turn completely. Some of them have turned and are starting to fall already, but it's still pretty green in there. Anyway, guys, I'm so glad you could join me today. We're going to learn how to make that gorgeous necklace you saw in the intro. And it's from the Bargain Bead Box for the month of September. And I know I'm very late, but you know what? It's better late than never. I wanted to make sure that I did at least one tutorial for you using the beads from that box. And so that's what we're going to do today. If you'd like to learn more about the Bargain Bead Box, I'll leave a link down below to their website. But basically, it's a monthly subscription box that runs for $17.95 per month, and that includes free shipping in the USA. But one of the nicest things about this subscription is that you get an exclusive coupon for 30% off their sister site, Bead Box Bargains. But anyway, I'll leave a link down below to their website, and if you do decide to sign up, please don't forget to use coupon code MISTY to get $2 off on your first shipment. So if you have any beads and pendants left over from that box, pull them out because now's the chance for you to use them up. As always, I will leave a list of all the materials down below in the description, and I'll also leave some timestamps in case you want to skip forward. I know the timestamps can come in handy if you're working on the necklace and you want to put it down and come back later and finish it off. I don't know, but I always include them for your convenience. Anyway, guys, I'm very excited to jump into the tutorial, but before we do, I need to do something very important. I need to pick a winner for a giveaway that I announced a couple of weeks ago for a multi-strand necklace using the curated bead box for the month of October. So before we get started with today's tutorial, I would like to go ahead and turn the camera around, log into my laptop, and go to the commentpicker.com site, which is what I use. And if you're wondering what that site is all about, basically you put in a link for the video, it goes out, it looks for all the comments from all the subscribers, it shuffles them up and picks a winner for you. So it saves me from having to cut out pieces of paper, put them in a bowl, pick a winner, and so forth. So anyway, guys, it's a very reputable site and I've used it before. So let me go to my laptop, log in, and we'll go to that site. All right, let me go to my laptop and wake it up. There it goes, and I love that screensaver. That's the Eiffel Tower. I've been there and I love that place. Let me go ahead and log in. Okay, here I am. I'm at commentpicker.com. Let me scroll down the page. And right here where my cursor is, this text field is where I need to paste the address of the YouTube video. So now I'm going to navigate to my content manager on YouTube. Let me go ahead and open that up. And here it is. Let me scroll down to the video. This one right here. And this is the necklace that I'm going to be giving away. Let me copy the video link. And now I'm going to go back to the Comment Picker site. And I'm going to paste the video link right in this text field here where my cursor is. Okay. Let me scroll down. And right here where it says Get YouTube Comments, I'm going to click on that. And it collected 175 comments. So now let me scroll down, and over here on the left where it says Start Raffle and Pick Random Winner, I'm going to click on the Start button, and once I do that, it'll go through all the comments and pick a winner. So good luck to everybody, and here we go. And it looks like the winner is Mushi Ribakak, and I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. If I did not, I apologize, Mushi. I know you visit my videos all the time. I always see your comments. And she wrote, "Beautiful, easy necklace that looks just like fall. Thank you for sharing with us. Hope you'll do more with the other beads in the box as well." So thank you so much, Mushi. That's really nice of you. And thank you for subscribing. All right, let me go ahead and close out. So that was a lot of fun. Congratulations again to Mushi. I'm so happy that I was able to give away this necklace. And Mushi, please don't forget to contact me. I'll leave my email down below. The only way that I can ship you your necklace is if you contact me and send me your address. And thank you to everyone who participated in the giveaway. I really do appreciate it. Like I've said before, I wish I could give every one of you a present, but I can't. But there'll be plenty of giveaways in the future, so please stay tuned for that. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and jump right into the tutorial. We're going to be using this beautiful half spiral drop pendant. It's 23 by 34 millimeters in dimension, and it's bag number 13, as you can see. And here's the pendant. So we'll be using one of these. We'll be using some of these Carnelian round beads, bag number 20, as you can see. These are 8 millimeters in size, and they are so pretty. I love these beads. We're going to be using 7 of them. And here's my 7. We'll be using 10 of these rondelle beads. These are 4 by 3 millimeters in size, and the color is sea green shimmer. As you can see, they're pretty small, but they're very shimmery and they're absolutely adorable. And we'll be using 10 of them. Here are my 10 beads. We're going to be using these gorgeous faux turquoise rondelle beads. They're 6 by 4 millimeters in size, and as you can see, it's bag number 16. And we're going to be using anywhere between 16 and 20 of these beads, depending on how long you want the necklace, but we can figure this out later on. I'm going to pull out 26 just in case. We're going to be using a couple of these beads from bag number 12. These are the spiral beads and they measure 11.5 millimeters. So we'll be using 2 of these. We'll be using a couple of drops from bag number 11. These are the spiral drops. And these drops measure 12 by 8 millimeters. And you're only going to need a couple of them. We'll be using the chain that came with the box. This is steel Figaro chain and the links measure 5.5 by 3.5 millimeters. I'm not sure how much we're going to need just yet, but we'll figure it out later on. You're going to need some jump rings, and these are antique copper in color, as you can see. And you're only going to need 2 of them, and these are 6 millimeters in size. You'll need a lobster claw clasp. I'm also going to use some of these rondelle spacer beads. These are 4 by 3 millimeters in size, and they're in an antique copper color. And these did not come in the box, but you can always use the magma crystal bicone beads if you don't have any of these. Or you can use any 4 millimeter metal bead as long as it's in a copper tone. But anyway, I'm only going to use 5 of them. I'm going to be using a few of these 8-0 seed beads, and these are in the color Metallic Warm Taupe, but they actually look like a pale copper color to me, and they coordinate really well with the metal charms and everything. We'll be using some craft wire. And I have 18 gauge and 22 gauge. Both of these are in an antique copper color, as you can see. And I'm also going to need a very short piece of 20 gauge wire. Here's my 20 gauge wire, and I don't even know what brand it is. I just know that it's 20 gauge. But like I said, you'll only need a very short piece, maybe 4 inches at the most. Okay, we're going to start by assembling the focal portion of the necklace, and we're going to use this gorgeous pendant. And you're also going to need some 18 gauge wire. You want to straighten your wire before you cut it. And you're going to need a piece that's 4 inches long. We're going to start by forming a loop at one end, and it doesn't have to be a very big loop, but you don't want it small either. I'm going to kink my wire at about 3/8 of an inch, but anywhere between 3/8 of an inch and 1/2 an inch would be good. Just like that. And now with a set of round nose pliers, you're going to grab the end of it like this so it's flush and form a loop. You want to make sure your loop is nicely closed, and this is what you should have. We're going to put it off to the side for the time being along with the pendant. And now you're going to need your 22 gauge wire. And again, you want to straighten out your wire. And you're going to cut yourself some pieces that are about between 2.5 and 3 inches long. It depends on whether you're a beginner or advanced. If you're a beginner, I recommend you cut yourself longer pieces. And you're going to need about 18 pieces. So here are my 18 pieces of wire. Now for this step, you'll need 2 of these turquoise beads. You'll need 3 of these 8 millimeter carnelian round beads, 6 of these little 4 by 3 millimeter crystal rondelle beads, 5 of these copper spacer beads. Let me put the rest of these off to the side. You're also going to need some of these seed beads. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create some beaded strands, and we're going to do it with some wrap loops. So for that, you get a piece of wire. You're going to kink the wire a little bit more than 1/3 of the way down, like this. Take your round nose pliers, place your round nose pliers right there on the short end of the wire. Wrap the wire around So you have this, flip your pliers around, and continue to wrap the wire to the back. So you have this. And now you're going to remove your pliers, and now you're going to grab the loop with another set of pliers, and I like to use these by Xeron. These are actually crimping pliers, but I love using the tip of them only for grabbing loops because the tip is very skinny and it grabs really, really well. Just like that. And then with another set of pliers, grab the tail and wrap it around. And you can do anywhere between 2 and 3 wraps. I like to do about 2. And now you're going to snip off the excess. Tuck in the little end. And this is what you should have. So now we're going to thread 3 of these 8/0 seed beads. Bring them down. Take your round nose pliers, grab your wire at the very top of the beads like this, turn the bottom loop so it's lined up this way, bend the wire away from you, so this is what you should have. Switch positions, so now you're on this portion of the wire, and you want to make sure that you use the same exact place on your pliers every single time so your loops are all identical. Okay, that's important. Take the wire, wrap it around. So this is what you should have. Flip your pliers around. Continue to wrap to the back, and you can turn your wrist a little bit here to get that loop closer to your beads. This is what you should have. And now we're not going to close this loop, we're going to keep it open. So just put it down for the time being, and let's do another one. Once again, you're going to grab it a little bit more than 1/3 of the way down, kink it, place your round nose pliers on the short end of your wire, wrap it around like this, flip your pliers around, continue to wrap the short end towards the back like this, remove your pliers, grab the loop, and then with another set of pliers, wrap that tail around a couple of times. Snip off the excess and tuck the little end in. Once again, we're going to thread 3 of these 8/0 seed beads. Grab the wire at the very top of your beads, line up your bottom loop, bend the wire away, switch positions, go to this end of the wire now, wrap the tail around, and continue to wrap towards the back, flip your pliers around, and put it down. So let me put these out of the way. And now we just have these beads, and we're going to go ahead and do the same exact step with all of them. Okay, let me do one more with you. Once again, you want to grab the wire a little bit more than 1/3 of the way down, kink it, grab the short end like this, wrap it around like this, flip your pliers around, wrap to the back like this, remove your pliers, grab the loop, and then grab the tail and wrap it around. Snip off the excess, and you want to always use the flush side when you snip anything that's close to your wire or your beads, okay? Because this gives you a nice clean edge. Now here's a little tip for those of you who have trouble grabbing little tiny things. Sometimes I have trouble. You can grab it with a set of pliers like this, and then with the other set, tuck your little end in. Just like that, okay? So now we're going to thread on one of these tiny rondelles, like this. And once again, grab your wire at the very top of the bead, bend it away, switch, wrap it around like this, flip your pliers around, and wrap to the back like this, and put it down. Okay, I know it's a little tedious. These are very tiny beads, but we have to do the same thing for all of these beads. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you back. Okay, I'm back. As you can see, I have semi-wrapped all of these components, and when I say semi-wrapped, I mean one end is wrapped and the other one isn't. Okay, the other end is open. The other thing that I did is that I did line up my loops, and you can do that even though one loop is open and the other one is closed. Just line them up like this, okay? Okay, so now what we're going to do is create 2 beaded strands, and let me arrange the beads and show you what we're going to wrap. As you can see, I've arranged my 2 strands, okay? This one is a short strand, this is a longer strand. And now we're going to go ahead and link these beaded components, all right? But I'm going to leave this on the screen for a few seconds so you can take a screenshot. All right, we're going to start with this one here, and we're going to actually close this loop. So you want to grab it, and again, grab the tail, and do a couple of wraps. Snip off the excess, tuck in the little end, and now we're going to grab this component here, take the open end and slip it into the closed loop of the rondelle like this. And now you're going to grab that loop and then grab the tail and do a couple of wraps. Snip off the excess, tuck in the little end, and this is what you should have. Once again, take the next component, take the open end, slip it into the closed end like this. Grab the loop and then wrap the tail around a couple of times. Snip off the excess and tuck in the little end. So this is what we have so far. So now I'm going to continue to wrap the rest of these beads in this order for this strand, and then I'll start here and do my other strand, okay? And I'm not going to do the whole thing on camera because it would just make the video too long, but hopefully if you took a screenshot you'll know exactly how to do it if you do it on your own. So let me go ahead and do that and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. As you can see, I linked all of my components and I have 2 strands. And for those of you who are curious, let me go ahead and measure these strands for you in case you don't have these beads. So the larger one measures about 6 inches. And the shorter one measures about 3.5 inches. Now we need to cut ourselves a piece of this chain, okay? And if you got the box and you have the chain, you're going to need a piece that has 18 of these large links. As you can see, this is Figaro chain, so you have two kinds of links. You have a large link and a small link. So your piece needs to have 18 of the large links. Let me go ahead and count them. So this is my 18th large link. So from this link where the wire is to this link, there are 18 of the large ones. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut this little link here. So here's my piece of chain, and I'll go ahead and measure this for you. This one measures about 4.5 inches long, okay? You're going to need 8 of the 80 seed beads, and you're going to need 6 of these turquoise rondelles. So now we're going to assemble this focal piece, okay? So you'll need your wire. The first thing you're going to thread on is an 80 seed bead. And then the end of this longer strand, like this, another 80 seed bead, your chain, another 80 seed bead, your other strand, another 80 seed bead. So this is what you should have so far. Okay, and now we're going to thread on 3 of these turquoise beads. Your pendant, like that. The other 3 turquoise beads. Okay, an 80 seed bead. The other end of the short beaded strand, another 80 seed bead. The other end of your chain, another 80 seed bead. The other end of your longer beaded strand, and then an 80 seed bead at the end. So this is how it should be threaded. Okay, very simple. Now we're going to go ahead and form a loop at this end. So you want to bring your beads down, but you don't want them too tight. You want them up against each other, but not real snug. Okay, and once again, we're going to go ahead and kink this wire. And we want the loop to be closed on the same side as this one. So if this one's closed at the top, then this one should be closed at the top as well. Okay, so you want to make sure you look at that loop and see where it's closing. Line it up. Kink your wire accordingly. Snip off the excess, okay, and you want to make sure you snip off the exact same amount that you did when you did the other loop. Hopefully you will have measured it. And now you're going to form a loop at this end, okay? Make sure that it's closed. And then you do want to line up your loops. Make sure they're both facing the same direction. And this is what you should have. Isn't it adorable? I absolutely love it. It's so pretty. Okay, so now that we've formed the focal piece, we're going to build a couple of components that we're going to hook onto each of these loops. You're going to need 4 of these carnelian beads, 4 of these turquoise rondelles, and 4 of these little seafoam colored rondelles, and 2 of these spiral beads. You're also going to need 6 pieces of your 22 gauge wire, and these definitely need to be 3 inches long. Let me move this out of the way. Alright, so here's my wire. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to wrap these beads with one loop closed and one loop open. So just like before, you want to grab the wire a third of the way down, kink it, do a loop. And I'm going to make these loops a little bit larger than what's on these strands, okay? So just wrap it around, just like you did before. And once again, grab the loop, and then with another set, Go ahead and do your couple of wraps. Snip off the excess. Tuck in the little end. And now we're going to thread on one of these spiral beads, like that. Grab the wire at the top of the bead, kink it, and wrap it around. Flip your pliers around and continue to wrap to the back. And once again, you want to have this loop open, okay? I'm going to do the same thing for this one. And by the way, I've already created a loop on each one of these wires. You know, sometimes it's good to do things ahead of time, production style. It just makes the job a little bit quicker. So once again, I'm going to thread the wire through the bead like this, okay? And I'm going to create a loop at this end. Just like that, okay? Now these are going to be grouped, okay? So we're going to start with a rondelle, a little tiny rondelle, a turquoise rondelle, and a large carnelian bead, like this. Grab the wire at the top of the bead, kink it, form a loop, but don't close it. You want to keep it open. And we'll do the same thing again. A little tiny rondelle, a turquoise bead, and a carnelian bead, like this. Grab the wire at the top of the bead, kink it, and form a loop. And we'll do the same exact sequence with the rest of these beads. So I'm going to go ahead and build 2 more like this, and I'll meet you back. Okay, I've completed these, as you can see, and let me show you how we're going to connect them. We're going to start by grabbing one of these, and now you're going to connect the closed loop of this one onto the open loop of the beaded one, like this. And now we're going to grab this loop so we can close it up. Snip off the excess, tuck in the little end, and this is what you should have. Okay, so now we're going to grab this next component, take the closed end, slip it into the open end, like this. Grab the loop and do a couple of wraps. Snip off the excess, tuck in the little end, and this is what you should have. Alright, so now I'm going to leave this one open. I'm not going to wrap it yet, and I'm going to do the same thing with the rest of these components. So let me show you again. Here's my beaded component. There's the open end. Take the spiral bead with a closed loop, slide the closed loop onto the open loop of the beaded component like this. Grab the loop and do a couple of wraps. Cut off the excess and tuck in the little end. So this is what you should have. And then again, take the closed loop of the beaded component, slip it into the open loop of the spiral bead component. And now we're going to close up the loop on the spiral bead component. And when I say close, I mean do a couple of wraps. cut off the excess and tuck in the little end. So now we have two little strands, as you can see, and this is how we're going to connect them. But before we connect them, we're going to create a couple of charms that are going to hang off these loops. And you'll need your 20 gauge wire, okay? This one's a little bit stronger than the 22 gauge, but if you don't have 20 gauge, you can certainly use 22 gauge, all right? So you're going to need two 2-inch pieces. You're going to need these two little charms, and we're going to create a regular loop. So grab your wire at about 3/8 of an inch, give it a kink, and then grab the short end with your round nose pliers and do a loop. Just like that. And now we're going to grab the loop this way, and with some flat nose pliers, you're going to kink your wire this way. Okay? And I just noticed I damaged my nail polish. It happens every single time. It's one of the reasons I don't wear nail polish that often. When you work with wire, it's very difficult to keep nail polish in perfect condition, unfortunately. All right, so this is what you should have, okay? And now we're going to snip off this end, and you can make both loops the same, but I'm going to make one larger than the other one, okay? So anywhere between 3/8 of an inch and 1/2 an inch is fine. Mine will be about 1/2 an inch. And now I'm going to form a loop. So this is what you should have. It's like a double loop connector. Okay, now if you don't want to do this, you can use 2 jump rings, all right? But this is just another option, okay? So let me do the same thing with this one. Once again, you want to grab the end and give it a kink. Make a loop. Grab the loop. You do want to make sure your wire is straight. And now you're going to grab the loop this way and bend it like this, okay? Snip off the excess. And form another loop. So there's my second double loop connector. Now the next step is to connect the charm. So I'm simply going to connect the charm to one of these loops. So I'm going to open up the loop, connect the charm, and close it up like this. Same thing now with this one. Open up the loop, connect the charm, and close up the loop. Now we're going to open up the other loop, connect it to your focal like this, close it up, same thing on this side, open up the loop, connect it, close it up, so this is what you should have. Okay, pretty cute. And now we're going to connect the strands. Okay, so for the strands, I think I'm just going to go ahead and open up this loop here. Connect the end that has the closed loop like this. Close it up really well. Same thing on this side. Open up your loop, connect your strand, and close it up. So this is what you should have so far. Isn't that cute? So let me go ahead and measure this piece. From the loop to the end of this component, we have about 3 inches, okay? So you need to decide how long you want your necklace, because now we're going to continue building these strands. And the way we're going to build them is with chain. So we're going to add some chain to the end, okay? And then we're going to add a beaded component, then some more chain, another beaded component, and more chain, and so on until you get the length that you want, okay? And I've decided that I want my chain pieces to have at least 5 of these large links. So let me just show you what I mean. I'm going to snip off this little one. And this large link is going to connect to this loop. So let's go ahead and do that, just to make it easier for you to see what I'm going to build, okay? Sometimes it's easier when you see it. So you're going to hook the link into the open link of this beaded component. And once again, you want to grab that loop like this and grab the tail and do a couple of wraps. Snip off the excess, tuck in the little end, and this is what you should have. Now for the beaded components, we're just going to use these turquoise beads, okay? So we're going to do the same kind of wire wrapping as we did here, and then we'll connect that component to the link, add another piece of chain, and do another turquoise component and another piece of chain. I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to start with 6 of these turquoise rondelles and 6 2.5 inch pieces of wire. We don't need a lot this time because it's just one bead. So anyway guys, the same thing again. Kink your wire, make a loop at one end, flip it around like this. Now before we close this loop, we need to connect it to the end of this chain like this, okay? So that's the only thing that's different. Grab the loop, do a couple of wraps, snip off the excess, tuck in the little end, thread on a bead, grab the wire at the top of the bead, line up your bottom loop, kink your wire, and form another loop here. But we're not going to close it, we're going to keep it open like this. And once again, I'm going to cut a piece of chain, and I want 5 large loops. So I'm going to cut this little one here so I can separate my piece of chain. There it is. Hook it onto this open loop like that. And just like before, grab the loop and do a couple of wraps to close it up. Snip off the excess, tuck in the little end, and this is what we have so far, okay? So that's basically how we're going to build the rest of the strand. Obviously, you can make your chain pieces shorter. They don't have to be this long, okay? But this is basically how it's going to look. So you should measure it, figure out how long you want your necklace to be. I think I'm going to make my strands 9 inches each to begin with, and then I'm going to hold the necklace up to my chest and see how it looks, and if I need to add more, I will. So I'm going to go ahead and do a couple more like this, and I'll meet you back. Okay, I'm back. As you can see, I completed this strand, and I did leave this loop open because I want to finish this strand, and then I'm going to take it to the mirror and hold it up to my chest and figure out whether or not I need to add more beaded components or more chain. So let me go ahead and finish this side, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I finished both strands. As you can see, I did take it to the mirror and it fits just right. I don't think I want to add anything else. Each strand from this corner to the end measures about 8 inches, but this piece here measures 2 inches, okay? And the clasp and the jump rings will add another inch or so. So I'm not going to make it any longer than this. The necklace is approximately 18 inches total. So 8 plus 8 is 16, plus 2 is 18, but this piece is straight, it's not curved. So that makes a little bit of a difference. And like I said before, the clasp and the jump rings add another inch. So anyway, this necklace looks good on my chest. I'm not going to make it any longer, but obviously if you want to make yours longer than that, you certainly can. So now I'm just going to add the clasp. Here are my 2 jump rings and my lobster claw clasp. And this is the easiest part of the whole thing. Connect your jump ring to the end of the strand, connect your lobster claw clasp like this. Close it up really, really well. Make sure there are no gaps. And then on this end, it's just going to be a jump ring. So hook the jump ring onto the end of the strand like this and close up your jump ring. I absolutely adore these colors. They're so pretty. Oh my gosh. And even though it has this large pendant, it's very delicate looking. I think it's because of the chain. That's one of the reasons I used 22 gauge on the beaded components. I didn't want to use anything heavier because then it wouldn't coordinate with the chain. The chain is kind of delicate. So anyway, guys, that's the necklace. Isn't it pretty? I hope you like this tutorial. Let me go ahead and put this on and show you what it looks like. Well, what do you think? Isn't it lovely? Let me give you a close-up. Look at these colors. Oh my gosh. I love the turquoise and the carnelian together. It's so pretty. As you can see, I had to put something different on to show off the necklace a little bit better. It's important to wear the right outfit with the right necklace. And I think this necklace looks absolutely adorable. I really love it. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm looking forward to seeing you again. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.